everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I'm continuing making cotton Christmas ornaments based on Alice in Wonderland, and today I'm going to be making Tweedle Dee and Tweedle Dum and the Mad Hatter. So let's get started.
I really wanted to make more ornaments out of dolls because these are easier to make, and therefore I've decided to make the Tweedle twins. I've bought two matching dolls, and first I'm washing off the faces using nail polish remover. Then I'm priming them using acrylic primer. And finally I'm painting them using skin-colored acrylic paint. After the paint has dried, I begin drawing the faces. First I'm drawing the eyes and the eyebrows with a pencil. I'm making the eyebrows frowning because, as you remember, these guys have quarreled. The most difficult thing here is to make two identical faces. I haven't quite succeeded with this. I'm painting the whites of the eyes white. And finally I'm painting the eyes using brown paint. I'm tinting the mouth and the cheeks. And finally I'm drawing freckles using a pencil. At the end I'm sealing everything as usual with varnish. The bodies of the dolls are too small compared to the heads, so I'm going to use the heads only. First I'm hot gluing a piece of cotton wool on each neck. I'm coating the cotton wool with white glue, shaping the body base, and then I'm winding the base with a thread. I'm making arms and legs out of wire. Then I'm wrapping the white frame in cotton wool and adding more cotton to the body base. These little guys are going to be quite plump. I've made the arms crossed on the chest, and now I'm adding some meat over, so to say. I'm wrapping the arms and the legs with cotton to make them thick enough. I'm making shoes on the feet. And then I'm adding the final layer of cotton wool onto the pants. I'm attaching a thin layer of cotton which is cut at the bottom. I have already shown in detail how to make these layers in previous episodes, so I've decided not to show it again here. I'll just leave the links to previous parts in the description box. I'm correcting the shape using a stack and making folds on the pants so that they look more natural. Further, I'm assembling jackets to the twins using exactly the same technique. First, I'm attaching the two front parts, and then the back part. Due to the other edge of these pieces of cotton wool is uneven, they kind of melt into the surface and the seams are completely invisible. I'm making collars out of long, narrow ribbons of cotton. and I'm making pockets out of small rectangles. By the way, it is much more convenient to cut collars and pockets out of cotton pads. For some reason, I've completely forgotten about this when making the ornaments. And finally, I'm adding cuffs to the sleeves. I'm going to be making stripes and checkered pants for the twins. I've seen such a variation of Tweedle Dee and Tweedle Dum at Mackenzie & Childs, and I think such pants will suit them very well. First, I'm painting them cream and outlining the pattern with a pencil. And then I'm painting the checks and stripes using a black thin brush. Here, best was to paint the pants first and then making jackets. It would be easier to paint them then. I'm making the jackets red, remembering that these are Christmas tree decoration and red color on a Christmas tree always looks very good. By the way, I'm thinning acrylic paint a little with water, then it absorbs into the cotton wool a bit and looks way better. Next year I want to try to dye cotton wool using fabric dyes. I'll show how it turns out. I'll dress up the twins in caps. Somehow everywhere they are wearing caps. I'm cutting out visors from thick paper. I'm coating the visors with glue and wrapping them in a thin layer of cotton wool. I'm attaching the visor to the head and wrapping the top of the head with cotton wool. Here I'm making the caps quite high, like those of English jockeys, so I'm adding more cotton over the top of the head. I'm painting the heads in skin color. Here I've made them out of cotton wool. And I'm making the shoes dark brown. As for the caps, first I'm painting the visors green, then I'm painting the cuffs, the collars and the caps in yellow. After that, I'm making bows on the necks. Tweedles are also wearing bows in almost all the pictures. I'm cutting ribbons out of small pieces of cotton wool and then I'm assembling the bows from two halves in the same way I made a bow for the rabbit in the previous video. I'm also making something like uppers on the shoes. I don't know how they are called. These are triangular details. I'm attaching them on the tops of the shoes. After drying, I'm painting the uppers of the shoes and the bows in blue. Then I'm returning to painting the caps. I've divided them into sections and now I'm painting part of the sections red. And the final touch, I'm drawing buckles on the shoes using contour paint. Also, I'm making buttons on the jackets and I'm decorating the caps with buttons. All that is left is to glue the twins together and add a hanging loop. To be honest, here I haven't used the classic image of Tweedle Dee and Tweedle Dum. Usually they are shown as unpleasant, nasty, fat men, but I wanted to make pretty ornaments, and when I came across these lovely little guys in a toy shop, I immediately knew they would make great Tweedles. I think they turned out to be really cute, although they are not completely similar as twins should be. Many of you were waiting for the next hero, the Mad Hatter. Here I couldn't use any doll as a base since the Mad Hatter is quite an unusual character, so I'm using a silicone mold to make him a face. I'm making a cast out of polymer clay and then I'm shaping it a little. I'm cutting the mouth with a thin stack and making it held open. I'm also adding teeth to the mouth. The original illustrations show he's got almost horse-like teeth. And I'm also deepening the smile lines and adding more lines to the cheeks to make his features kind of sharper. Also, I'm sculpting a bitten piece of bread or cake. This is just a rectangle with a semicircular notch. And a bitten cup. And I'm also making 2 hands. To do this, I'm cutting out 5 fingers over a flat mark, pressing out nails with a stick and making fingers wrinkles. Then I'm shaping the hands in the desired position and then I'm attaching the cake and the cup to the hands. After that, I'm baking the hands and the face according to the instructions for polymer clay. I'm making a body frame out of thin wire. Here I'm using the illustration as a guide. I'm hot gluing the face to the frame. I'm also adding cotton wool from the inside of the face. I'm hot gluing the hands to the frame and also adding cotton wool there. After that, I'm wrapping the entire frame with cotton wool and coating it with white glue, making the base of the figure. I'm also adding a loop for hanging. After the base has dried, I'm painting the face. I'm priming it using an acrylic primer and then I'm painting it in a skin color. In fact, I could do without this since my polymer clay is skin toned already, but as this one is a part of the set, I want all of the faces to have the same color and texture. I'm painting the whites of the eyes and the teeth white. After that, I'm outlining the pupils and the eyebrows with a brown pencil and then painting them brown. I'm highlighting the mouth and the cheeks. And finally, I'm painting the cup white. And I'm painting the cake to look nicely baked. After that, I'm covering everything with varnish. Then I begin shaping the body. I'm shaping the feet, attaching small pieces of cotton wool to the toes and to the heels. Then I'm wrapping a layer of cotton wool around each leg so that I get an even edge from the bottom. To make trousers, they should be quite wide. I'm making a vest out of the thin sheet of cotton wool that I've prepared earlier. Here I'm making the right and the left sides separately, each with a triangular bottom shape. I'm leaving a torn edge on the sides of the parts so that there are no visible seams. This side will kind of melt into the surface and the edges will be completely invisible. I'm making folds with a stack to make the vest look more natural. Then I'm drying it well and covering it with another layer of white glue to make the surface more rigid. Then I'm painting the whole suit. I'm going to make a jacket over it, but it will be difficult to paint the suit once the jacket is on, so I'm doing it now. The hatter has a checkered suit, so I've outlined it with a pencil and then I'm painting it cream. After that, I'm drawing a black checkered pattern with a thin brush. The work is not quick despite the small surface, but in fact it's not difficult at all to paint the checkered pattern, but you can make it striped, for example. After the paint has dried, I'll dress up the hatter in a jacket. I'm cutting off the lower edge from a thin sheet of cotton wool soaked in glue, attaching it to the figurine and then cutting off the front sides of the jacket. I'm making the sleeves in the same way, attaching thin sheets of cotton which are cut off with scissors from the side of the cuff and wrapping them around the arms, and then I'm smoothing everything with a brush. I'm making the pockets for the jacket. These are just small rectangles. I'm bending the fronts of the jacket to make the lapels, and I'm also making a collar from a strip of cotton. The original illustration shows the hatter wearing a shirt with a white stand-up collar, and so I'm making a similar one. First, I'm attaching a cotton ribbon to the back of the hat, and then I'm folding the edges of the ribbon inwards to create nice and neat corners of the collar. I'm waiting until it's dry and painting the jacket in a deep purple color. The hatter is still missing the most important thing, his top hat. I'm cutting the base out of thick paper. You will find the template in the description box as usual. Hot gluing it and then coating the top hat with white glue and wrapping it in a thin layer of cotton wool. I'm painting the dried hat black. Then I'm going to do the hair. I am tearing the cotton wool covered with glue into shreds and attaching these shreds around the face. After doing that, the hat actually looked like Doc from Back to the Future. I'm painting the hair auburn. Then I'm punching a hole in the hat, threading a loop through it for hanging and hot gluing the hat in place. First I made a hole at the top of the hat, but I didn't like how the figure hung, so I had to redo it and put the loop out between the side and the brim of the hat. I'm making a fluffy bow tie for the hatter's neck out of a ribbon cut from cotton wool. Here I'm assembling it out of two halves. I'm painting the bow in blue. And I'm also making red spots on the blue bow. Then I've remembered that I completely forgot about the socks. They will be yellow with the red stripes. First I'm painting them yellow and then I'm painting stripes with a thin brush. I'm making a cotton ribbon and attaching it to the hat and also attaching the label to it, saying 10 shillings and 6 pence in this style. Here I've copied the original label as shown on the illustration. I've printed it out on a coffee-stained paper. After the ribbon has dried, I'm painting it red. In the original illustration, the hat is halfway into his shoe. I was thinking about whether to put on his shoes or not and decided to make him in one shoe. I'm shaping cotton on his foot to make it look like a shoe. I'm making holes in the shoe with a needle for laces. And after it's dry, I'm painting it brown. And I'm also adding shoelaces made out of a black thread. Finally, I'm making the buttons on the vest and the jacket using a bronze contour paint. Well, is the Mad Hatter looking mad enough? I think he is, and if you compare it with the inspiration picture, I think he resembles it a lot. This ornament is not so bright due to the black top hat and the black and white checkered suit, so if you wanna add more madness to his look, make the hat colored, for example green. I even think Tim Burton's Mad Hatter cast by Johnny Depp was wearing a green hat, although I'm not sure. Well, and this is where I'm finishing the third part of my Alice in Wonderland ornaments story.
So, first I was going to end my story on this, but lots of people were asking me for making a Cheshire Cat and the second kind of the white rabbit, as I told you in my previous video. So I think I'm going to make one more series, one more video about this. I hope I'll be in time to do this before Christmas, so stay tuned. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching and bye!